Hi there, Ronnie here, coming at you with a video. Interesting thing has been happening over the last couple of weeks uh, with regards to BoardGameGeek. Um, they have a top list, and Twilight Imperium was there for a long time as number one. Recently, it has been Gloomhaven. But then a concerted campaign happened. A mix of upvoting Brass Birmingham and downvoting Gloomhaven meant that the aggregate scores changed and Brass Birmingham became the number one game on BoardGameGeek, which led to a counter campaign to get Gloomhaven back up again. And it, as well as just being extremely funny, it rather cements a point of view I've had for some time. BoardGameGeek is a great resource. Certainly, you can look at games and get a rough idea of what's popular and what isn't. You can do that. And certainly, if there is a particular game you're interested in, there's a good chance that there's a good description on BoardGameGeek. And you can look at the game, you can look at images, you can look at descriptions, you can look at the side it will tell you the kind of mechanics that are involved. Is it a worker placement game? Is it a card drafting game? Is it a deck building game? Is it a roll and move game? All these things. And it gives you an idea of what the game is like. But my personal opinion is that the charts are irrelevant. Just because something is popular doesn't necessarily mean it's any good. Or, slightly more importantly to the conversation, just because a game is popular doesn't mean it's going to be a game you will like. Now, I don't own Gloomhaven. I do have Brass Birmingham, currently on the shelf of shame, but it's there. I've never voted for a game on BoardGameGeek, and I've no intentions of it. I used BoardGameGeek as a resource, nothing more. And I personally think that's how it should be used. Whilst it's interesting to see what other people find popular or what other people like, it doesn't say anything about your taste, your interest, what you will enjoy or not enjoy. I did a video some time ago about board game reviewers on YouTube. And I've come to the conclusion that whilst their conclusion can be watched, see what they think of the game, they're one opinion. The most important part of any review is them doing the overview of the game. because whether they like the game or not, that overview will inform whether you like the game or not. And I kind of feel the same about the board game entries on BoardGameGeek. They will let you know the description of the game, what mechanics, an idea of a basic idea of complexity. Again, complexity is somewhat nebulous because one person's complexity is another person's snack. But I think we're missing a bit of a trick with all of this. I think we need to stop caring about the charts. It's kind of like the music charts. You know, just because a song's number one doesn't mean it's any good. You know, if you want proof of that, over here in the UK, for many, many years, we had the X Factor winner be number one at Christmas. Most of their songs, naff. Average at best, in my opinion. Other people would probably enjoy them, but you know, for me, average at best. We've had charity singles the last few years. Now, I'm all for charity singles at Christmas. Doesn't make them great songs, but you know, I'm all for charities. But we need to stop looking at the charts. They're irrelevant. The most popular game, the most interesting game, they don't and they shouldn't inform you on your choices. I think the best part of BoardGameGeek is if you're looking for a game with a particular mechanic or style of game, you can type that in. Or, you know, you can look at one example and it will have everything sort of highlighted. And you can click on that and it will come up with a list of everything that has that same mechanic. So you say you're on the page for Lords of Waterdeep, which is a worker placement game. You can click on worker placement and it'll come up with a list of all the other games on BoardGameGeek that are worker placement games. And you can have a look at them. Maybe you're looking for a sci-fi game. You know, science fiction, click on that. You'll find all these games that have sci-fi in it. That's the important part. Whether more people like game A than game B is irrelevant, because it only matters whether you are going to like that game and whether you feel your group is going to like that game. And as long as that is as long as the answer to both of those questions is yes, who cares where the game lies on BoardGameGeek's list? Who cares whether a reviewer on YouTube or anywhere else, or magazine or anywhere else, likes the game or not? It's irrelevant. Only the description of the game matters. That, and only that, should decide whether or not you're interested. That's what I think anyway. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video.